Well, it's the end of the year and there's only one way to round it off. It's time for some highlights and outtakes. Welcome to In the Loop. Hello folks and welcome to the Watercress line. Now before we get into the main part of the story, for the last time this year, it's time for a quick fire look around the railway to see what's been happening since the last episode. Starting here at Ropley MPD and our famous little tank engine. Now last time we saw the boiler having its steam test out of the frames. The next stage is to, well, put it back in when it's ready. There's a few things we need to do beforehand. As you can see, the team are putting on the insulation to keep all of that heat inside the boiler to prevent waste and its famous blue cladding. So let's look at the other half of the engine. Now looking at the motion and chassis side of things, last time we saw the cylinder block in place being trial fitted before fettling. They're now fitted in place finally, these two bits are joined together and, well, it's safe to say the final assembly of our little tank engine is well underway. Looking at our standard 4 75079, last time they were working on the axle boxes, getting those fitted. They're now fitted in place. As you can see, the springs are attached and they're not far off being re-wheeled in the main frames. Over here in the wheel drop we have the IVET, which is currently stopped for pistons and valve exam. Now these need to be done every about 20,000 miles and essentially it's strip down all the motion, take a lot of measurements, make sure everything is sound and crucially within tolerance for another 20,000 miles. And we are, remember, talking about big components but thousandths of an inch tolerance. So naturally it's quite a thorough job. Further down in the wheel drop in our paint shop we have one of our coaches which has been brought in. It's currently having some steelwork repairs done, so sort of like an interim overhaul, and they're also going to be giving it a lovely coat of paint. Now onto Canadian Pacific and inside the firebox. On the outside they're currently caulking the stays which have been put in, and on the inside here Jamie is currently working on the tubes. Now these have been put in and expanded and he's currently using a selection of tools to bead over, which again is making a nice steam and watertight seal. So to find out a little bit more about how the tubes are actually expanded and the process behind that, we, well, chatted to Jamie.
Hi, I'm Jamie, I'm boilersmith at Ropley. Common question I get asked is how a tube is expanded. How does a tube actually get held in the boiler? So it's with this device, it's called an expander. The cage goes inside the tube and then the mandrel goes inside the cage. The mandrel is rotated and therefore it rotates the cage. As the mandrel goes into the cage more, it makes the rollers go out and go bigger, and as it rolls around it expands the tube up, and that's very basically how it works.
The shortlist for the Heritage Railway Association Awards has been announced for this year, and I am absolutely thrilled to say that the Watercress Line's film unit has been nominated for the Marketing and Communications Award for In the Loop this very series. The railway is also up for the Infrastructure Award for the re-signalling works done at Medstead, so two huge achievements for the railway. And finally, in some big news for the railway, our interim CEO Rebecca Daly has become our permanent, so we're looking forward to working with her further and hopefully having an interview in the near future. Well, a lot here happening at the Watercress Line, and to be fair, that's been the same for the whole year. So to round off 2023, we chatted to a few people to relive some of the highlights. Thank you for watching folks, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and we'll see you in January.
Highlights for this year, it's just been non-stop. I don't know where the year's gone, in truth. It just slips through your fingers, doesn't it? You're barely starting the service and then we're into, illuminations. Probably highlights, we've installed and commissioned the re-signalled Medstead, and that's been absolutely seamless, in truth. We've just started a train service into it and it hasn't missed a beat. So that's a great testament to everybody that's been involved in that.
Highlights for this year has to be the Terrier visiting the Hants. Yep.
Highlight of my year, I think it might be this. Absolutely. Yeah, for the railway and this for me, it's an absolute joy for me to do this every year. The Christmas music does get a little tedious after a while, seeing we start dealing with Christmas music in the summer, but still enjoying it. Definitely the highlight of my year.
I think highlights for me this year is putting the last very last stay in on this boiler, and also when we filmed the episode with Will, which was hilarious, just making him flag by just doing a couple of stays. That was funny, I'm not going to lie. And yeah, no, he did all right though, to be fair to him, but it was funny to take the mick out of him.
I think definitely, for me personally, my highlight has to be that I passed out as a guard, which was wonderful.
Well, it's been a varied year. So we started the year really working, actually to improve the workshop. Around about sort of May, June, we started on this, which has been a fantastic project to be involved in. Really from the point of stripping it all out. You have to be very careful as you take everything out, that you know where everything is so it goes back in the right place. And then helping rebuild the roof, which needs to be replaced. And it'll finish next year. We've really got to get scaffolding around the carriage in order to get the roof back on, or sorry, a new roof on. So yeah, it's been very, very, very interesting to do. And of course we made our chocks, which was great fun because we made them out of wood where you still had the bark on it, which was, you know, great fun.
I enjoyed the vintage vehicle weekend actually. That was good fun. Getting the bloody Taylor Hubbard crane out and just moving logs about and putting on the bench saw, and then most of the wood all ended up in here, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
That was all good fun.
One of the event highlights for me this year was being able to get Dave Pallett, who was on the Hailing Island branch. Before it shut, we managed to get the original running in board and the terrier and the recreation of the headboard and that sort of thing, and got a day out for him on it. It was a really special day, to be honest.
Locomotive-wise, Class 14, Goliath, Vulcan, all pretty good as far as I was concerned.
Goliath's very good.
What's that?
I approve of Goliath.
Yep. LMY tank was very pretty.
Like many others, perhaps, I think the gala was outstanding. I think it just goes to show that when we can organise an amazing collection of guest locos with our own, and we have the people to do that, then that will always attract a very large number of people to the railway of all sorts of types. So it was very busy and great to see. Wonderful collection of everything from families through to enthusiasts.
We've built some really good bridges with Swanage. We've hired 2 Class 33s from them over the last 2 years, which has built some big bridges, which has ultimately then improved relationships to the point now where we've got Manston for Christmas. So, I think that can only be a positive thing going forward. If we've learned one thing out of COVID is that we're not going to manage to keep going unless we work together. So we've already got sort of strong allies in the Bluebell. So by building those bridges with Swanage, all the better. The more we can work together and pool resources, absolutely superb.
Well, I think the key highlight had to be the presentation of the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service, which was a real privilege to receive, and I think a fitting tribute to the huge amount of work that so many people have put in over so many years for our railway.
Using a magic 3, the third one has to be. To say the people in front of me now, you, Will, thank you very much, making me look so professional and wonderful here at this station in the video you made, which was great about station porter and station work. I have the privilege also the last 6 months, and that's a highlight too, of being part of and then leading the volunteer steering group, which is the railways campaign that will really get launched next year as well, to bring many, many more volunteers into all sorts of roles. And so anything and everything that helps people understand and see that we are just a bunch of people who are either retired or still working from a wonderful collection of backgrounds, but all have the railway in our hearts and work as volunteers. Anything that helps that, and your film of station work and the others that you do of roles around the railway is a tremendous help, and you certainly made me look professional in mine, so thank you very much.
One of the other great things we've managed to do this year is to re-energise the volunteer recruitment process, and we've had quite a number of people come to us and we've been able to induct them, and I sense there is a tremendous willingness to really get going this year with driving our railway forward, and you can see that in so many different areas. And I hope some of the difficulties we've had in the past are now behind us, but I do sense that there's a real positive feel about the place, which is tremendous.
As always, it's very busy here at the MPD, finishing the various projects, or continuing the various projects that are going on.
There's an awful lot of unseen stuff goes on here, literally 365 days of the year. There's always talk of staff, volunteers. In truth, everybody's a volunteer. Nobody has to be here. Everybody gives extra time on top of what they're actually meant to do. We don't basically draw the line between the two. They are one and the same. Everybody is part of the railway family. They're all part of the team, and everybody pulls their weight and some to make the place tick. It's remarkable, really, when you see actually how much effort goes into. You probably don't see very much. It's a little bit like the Swan, it's all serene and calm on the surface, but there's an awful lot of effort going on under the surface just to make a place like this tick. It's quite remarkable.
With this project, we've got a group of volunteers that have come from Eastleigh who were involved with the chassis to begin with, and then they came here to help with the boiler. Myself personally has been basically mentoring them and helping them progress the job along. And without them, this would not be where it is today. I can't stress that enough. The work they've done on this is incredible. They 3 days a week, full shift. They're between 60 to 76, I think is the oldest one, and they're absolutely spot on. Really good working group. They're the sort of lads that I can just leave them to it. I don't have to worry about it. And they just get on with it, and they ask me the right questions, which is fantastic from my point of view. And yeah, as you can see, every single stay in this boiler has been fitted by volunteers. All the tubes have pretty much been fitted by volunteers, with guidance from myself. A lot of the tooling work has been done by volunteers. It's just a lot of the odds and sods have been done by volunteers, and they've done a really good job. Really good job. Very impressed and thankful, because if they hadn't been here, that could have put another couple of years on the job. So they have been a saving grace in so many ways.
Moving into 2024, it doesn't seem possible. We're putting 23 to bed. Massive year for us, in truth, because we've got Canadian Pacific coming back. It's been a long road and a fairly bumpy road, let's face it, but it'd be a remarkable achievement to bring that back after sort of 12 years. So that's a massive shot in the arm for the railway.
The first thing will be to see Canadian Pacific back in service, because we're going to make a great noise about that. It is a fantastic piece of work. I know it's taken a long time, but it'll be brilliant to see it back in service, and we can really use it to push our case.
Got to be finishing Thomas the Tank and CP at some point. That'll be two highlights for me.
It'll be lovely to see this thing back next year. Got a bit to go yet, but we can see light at the end of the tunnel now with this project, especially the boiler. I'm really happy with how it's going. So it's been really good, really, really good.
We've got a new CEO, so that's a really positive step forward, bit of stability.
So at the end of it, we'll have an absolutely wow carriage. It'll look fantastic. When one of those goes out, you feel great. You look at it thinking, wow, we did that, or you pass it. Even if it's just a small part, you feel very good about it. So it's good.
And hopefully the 75 standard, not very far behind it, and onwards and upwards. I think the future is what we want to make of it. In truth, it's as I say, there's an awful lot of opportunity there. We just got to go and grab it.
Do this again. So technically, next year becomes January the 1st, and that's when we're running the kind of party mix kind of music on the train. So looking forward to hearing Faithless Insomnia puffing up the hill. So there we go.
If you'd like to keep up to date with all the latest progress here at Ropley, we run a Facebook page called Ropley MPD. So if you'd like to see all the latest goings on, feel free to give us a follow.
So, Rich, what's your highlight been of the year?
Well, highlights. I think, apart from meeting all the nice people, fantastic people here at the railway, which goes without saying, I think having that opportunity to be in front of the camera.
After much persuasion.
Much persuasion, and the bribery with lots of buns from Loaf. Which
it does work
really
quite
good.
nicely, yeah.
I think I've thoroughly enjoyed the 2 videos I did. There was signalling where I was down at Alresford running the box down there, and also the track walk where we walked down from Medstead to Alresford, where we went out with the guys in the morning.
Yeah, apologies for getting you up that early. Yeah.
It was early, and it ain't going to happen again. It's not going to happen again.
What you didn't see was the first few takes we did of the intro of just like, can you turn down the sarcasm ever so slightly? Very much not a morning person.
It wasn't that bad, actually. It wasn't that bad. But yeah, they were really good, interesting. It was nice to be able to do, and hopefully be able to do some more next year with some more working on it or whatever project we come up with.
Oh, definitely.
And what about you? What was your highlight or highlights of the 2023 season?
I don't know. I'd probably say that episode we did with Peter on the footplate.
Right.
Just because it was a big one to kind of put together a plan. Because I was on the footplate in charge of GoPros and sound. You were running around trying to get a load of stuff. We had people on the line side getting line side shots, and then a mountain of editing afterwards.
Yeah.
And it came in quite nicely.
I think you did very well. Yeah, it was good. That was
a
good one.
I think anything to do with like the people we have here are absolutely wonderful. They're good quality, very knowledgeable, although the heckling is a bit entertaining at times.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, they do tend to heckle, but yeah, a good bunch of people, and we're very, very lucky to have that privilege of being able to have them around.
It's brilliant.
So,
them sharing their knowledge and also coming up to us with ideas as well.
Yeah.
Second to none. On the line of heckling, I was filming a little bit for this segment with Andrew down in the works, and we did nice little bit, and he did a plug for Rockley MPD. Believe it or not, that was actually the second attempt. The first was a bit more entertaining.
Yeah. If you haven't already seen, we run a Facebook page called Rockley MPD. So if you'd like to keep up to date with all the latest progress, feel free to give us a follow. You are such a dick.
I'm waiting for him.
So we are working the camera here.
Hello folks and I knew it.
Cup of tea.
Oh, happy days.
I've not for you, Will.
That'll be in the outtakes.
It's not my fault they chose the nicest face for the camera.
There she'll be.
Excellent. Well, shall we grab Barry and dive down into the nitty gritty?
Good idea. Where should we grab him?
I can't use that, Mark.
Just curious.
So welcome to the vacuum repair shop. I'll do that again.
And for those of you of a certain age and in the spirit of Christmas, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Good night.
That was cheesy.
Well, that's a wrap then, isn't it?
Yeah.